1 second.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It sure is. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian, and if you did not already know this, I have some proof that the Biden family are the scummiest family on earth, and that's saying a lot. They're scummier than the Kennedys, and that's really saying a lot, isn't it? I'm talking about the heyday of Ted Kennedy driving off into the drink and everything else. Something came out with James Biden, who looks like, when I saw him walk in, it was like deja vu. James Biden looks like what Joe used to look like back in the days when he was in the Senate with those doll hair plugs of his. And we've got so much to cover today. Nikki Haley has a undercover operative working for her that I just put the pieces together and figured this out this morning with something that came out the other day. And we're going to share that, and there's a whole bunch more going on. But let me talk about these lowlives in the Biden family, and then we'll get to Nikki Haley and her undercover lowlife operative in the GOP. All right, so James Biden, of course, testifying and all this stuff yesterday. And I know everyone's talking about that, and the things they're talking about just don't seem, it was almost like it didn't happen. But there was something said. James Biden is claiming that he threw away a second diamond that was given to Hunter by the Chinese. Remember, Hunter got that diamond from the Chinese? James Biden, this is the headline. James Biden reveals he threw out a second diamond gifted to Hunter by the Chinese to entice him to do business. Is there anyone out there that thinks that James Biden, who's just as scummy as Hunter and his big brother, threw out a diamond? What do you think he did with the diamond? I know what he did with the diamond. He stole the diamond. It's probably in his sock drawer or in some rolled up socks in the back of his closet or something. The Bidens are low-life scumbag junkies and thieves and corrupt public officials. James Biden is a bribe broker for his big scummy brother Joe. There is no way that James Biden took a diamond and threw it. We're not going to let the Chinese have influence in this family, and threw it away. No way. James stole the diamond and then told everyone, I was doing what was best for the family. We can't have that Chinese influence. I threw that diamond away. Is there anyone out there that believes that? This is in the Daily Mail. James Biden revealed to Republicans leading the impeachment probe into his brother Joe that he threw out another diamond his nephew Hunter Biden received as a gift from Chinese businessmen trying to entice him to work with them. We're not going to let those Chinese have any influence over the good Biden family that are just dedicated public servants. I'm throwing this diamond away. What a bunch of nonsense. And the reason I say that the Bidens are the scummiest family ever is, they're pretty scummy. We know that. But what makes them scummier than any other family I can think of is that they're stealing from each other. They're not just stealing from the national treasury. These are people, they're starting wars to make money. There are dead people so that Hunter can be set up with his junkie sister with drugs and hookers for life. So that, and people die for this. These people hanging off the planes in Afghanistan and everything. And that's pretty low life. Don't misunderstand me. But there's been a lot of scummy families like the Bushes that have killed people to make money, and the Cheneys and others. Lyndon Johnson, all these people. But they didn't steal from each other. Do you think that Joe And Hunter believed that James threw the diamond away. Joe Biden's brother's revelations came out during a highly anticipated closed-door interview on Capitol Hill as part of the Republicans' probe into whether he profited off his son Hunter and brother Jim's business dealings. A source familiar with the testimony told the Daily Mail that James Biden told investigators that Hunter was given a diamond from top officials at Chinese energy company CEFC to entice him to do business with them while his father was vice president. Hunter apparently gave the diamond to James to have it appraised. Oh, that was his first mistake. But instead, James says he threw the diamond away. That would be the second diamond that Joe's son got from the executives. The Daily Mail previously reported that emails from Hunter's laptop showed he received $10 million a year for 3 years, blah, blah, blah. These people are so low-life, they steal from their own family. Do you think James still has that diamond? You know, these diamonds, you know, these are special diamonds. They're not easy to unload. And, you know, to me, when I'm watching all the coverage of what's coming out of this James Biden story, you know, and to me, this is the headline of that story. James Biden does the same thing for Joe that Hunter does. He's his other bribe broker. James Biden's been involved in massive overseas real estate deals and things. And he's another one, and I've seen him in action. He's really scummy. I saw a reporter a couple years ago went up to his house to interview him, and he is a nasty guy, James Biden, because like the rest of the Bidens, they're arrogant. And when you're selling out your country and you're brokering criminal acts, which are the bribes, right? The whole family are on the take. People that do all of this for money do not throw diamonds away any more than Bob Menendez would throw a gold bar away. And for this to be presented as like, wow, look, he's honorable. Now, the Bidens are pretty stupid. You know, hey, Joe's checked out, Hunter's stoned. But I bet this didn't go unnoticed yesterday from Jill. You know what Jill wants? Jill wants Jill's money. Jill wants Jill's money. And she just found out that her scummy brother-in-law is hiding a diamond that was meant for her because Hunter's her stepson. This is beautiful stuff. I'm so glad this has come out today because this will cause problems in the family. You know, when you get these, you know, when you get criminals together, it's greed. And when they find out that they've been ripped off by other conspirators in their criminal operations, they get freaked out. And I promise you that this diamond that James says he threw away, I'm calling total BS on that story. Is there anyone who believes that James Biden threw a diamond away? Had it appraised? Yeah, he had it appraised, and then he either sold it or it's in a rolled up sock somewhere in his house. There's no way he sold or threw away a diamond. The things these people have done for money, you know, James Biden and his sister have been doing crime for decades for their brother. And then Hunter got old enough to start doing crime, and he took some of the load off. You know, Joe's sister has been the campaign manager of all of his campaigns since his first run for Senate. That's her big cash grab. So this is a great story, and I did tweet this story. Everyone should tweet this because the more the Bidens see that people know about this diamond story, the more friction it's going to cause in the family. Families, scumbag families, really go after each other when it comes to money. You know, that's one of the things we talk about with attorney Barry Siegel and, Revocable Living Trust and everything. When things are not set up, people get nuts, especially criminals. All right, let's take our first break. I love it. A family that steals from themselves, that's the Bidens. Scum. Lowlives. The worst. I mean, the mafia don't even steal from their own families. I mean, this is immediate family. You kidding me? All right. Now we'll take our first break. I'll get into this undercover operative, this spy that Bird Brain Manhands Nikki Haley has working for her. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action.
Did James throw the diamond away, guys? Yes or no? Yeah, freaking break. Okay. No freaking way. Okay. Got so much to cover. Let me find this. Where's this other story? Here we go. I've got so many stories to cover today. Wow.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. To buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Yeah, there's no way he threw that diamond away. What a bunch of bullshit story that is. Give me a freaking break.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world that truly.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Free shipping continues at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane. Did you see a judge just ruled that Mike Lindell has to pay $5 million in a lawsuit settlement over his support of Donald Trump? $5 million, I tell you. They kicked him out of Walmart. They took him off Fox. They took him out of all those big box retailers like Kohl's and Kroger, all these stores. Now here comes the penalties. You support Donald Trump, now $5 million. So when you support MyPillow and get your free shipping, by the way, it's free shipping site-wide on every item, no matter how large, no matter how small, and you get the special deal, okay? Site-wide, free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. When you do that, of course, you're supporting this incredible program and our radio station, but you're also supporting the great Mike Lindell. So go to MyPillow.com, take advantage of free shipping site-wide on all items, plus the special, whatever the discount is. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Now, before I get into Nikki Haley's spy, which I uncovered, we'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to give you an update. My dog is alive. I did not have to put my dog Nina down yesterday, my 17-year-old dog. And I'll just give you a quick capsulized view of what's going on with her. I took her to the vet yesterday afternoon, fully prepared to be coming home with just a leash and a collar. I mean, and waiting for the ash. I mean, it was a really brutal day. I was having a rough day yesterday. The dog's 17, and, I've never had a dog that's lived this long. And she's got a bunch of problems, and I took her to the vet yesterday. She has this growth on her lip that I thought was infected, which it is, and found out it's cancer. So she has cancer. Now, the problem is she's really, really old, and the doctor's not crazy about putting her under anesthesia. She also has severe arthritis on her rear legs. And and we've got a very good vet. Although when I go to the vet, I really dress down. I wear my old shoes that have holes in them that I do lawn work in, and I wear the rattiest, cheapest clothes I can find and everything else. Because when you go to a vet, you want to look very poor, okay? A big mistake. Leave the Apple Watch at home. Do all that, Yeah, but we got a very good vet. So she's got really severe arthritis, and she's having a lot of problems with that on her rear leg. So he's treating her for her arthritis, and he did clean out her thing growing with the cancer and gave her an antibiotic for that, and gave her an injection for the arthritis, and then a daily prescription of both an antibiotic and pain medications that she's taking. And he said, come back in 2 weeks if she has because she's having a hard time walking. If she has a major recovery with the arthritis and we can take care of that, he says we can risk the surgery. And he told me he's got an anesthesia. It's a quick procedure because it's on her lip. He's got an anesthesia that'll dope her up, and then he's got one that'll bring her out of it like instantly. So he'll do it really quick, but he wants to see if she responds to the arthritis. So we got 2 weeks. And I got to tell you, I could see, by the time I got her home, I could see the light back in her eyes. I mean, she's looking great, so I'm very, very excited. And those of you that sent me all these messages of prayers and everything yesterday, thanks so much, guys. It's really appreciated. I did not want to put that dog down, and it's a tough thing. All right, now, if you're on hold, hang in there. So Nikki Haley has a spy. And I'm not going to beat around the bush and tease you with who it is. It's Ron DeSantis, Kinky Boots, Ron DeSanctimonious, Ron DeSantis. And I thought he was just going to go away and lie low. And then Laura Ingraham dropped something, and then there's a new story this morning that I'm going to share with you. Ron DeSantis is working with Nikki Haley, okay? And the other day when I was talking about that measles outbreak, and I was saying DeSantis needs to get down here, get off his high heels and get down here, I got a lot of messages from people. Lay off DeSantis! He endorsed Trump! People calling me a-hole in DMs? Really? I'm an a-hole? DeSantis isn't? I'm serious. People calling me that. And, and then we find out Ron DeSantis is screwing Trump over still. And during the town hall, when Laura Ingraham went through let me see if I can pull this up. When she went through the vice presidential picks, she mentioned something, and then I started looking into this. Let me see if this is the right clip. This is from the Donald Trump town hall with Laura Ingraham the other night.
People used to say I was running because I really wanted to be vice president. I think I've pretty well settled.
Oh, no, that's Nikki Haley. Let me see if I got the one that I wanted to play. If I don't, I'll just tell you. Let's see here. I don't know. I got it here, but I don't know which clip it is. But when Laura Ingraham was asking President Trump about his VP pick. She went through everyone, right? Tim Scott, DeSantis, Kristi Noem. And she said, DeSantis is in South Carolina today. And I thought, and she said it kind of under her breath, and it was behind applause, and it didn't really get picked up. And I thought, what is that guy doing in South Carolina? And I found out what he's doing there. And then, he's got a cover story. He was at the South Carolina State House, DeSantis, 4 days before the primary in South Carolina, which is Saturday. And the cover story is he was there talking about term limits for members of Congress. That's a bull. That story is as true as James Biden throwing out the diamond, all right? You don't go to the State House to talk about congressional term limits. Congressional term limits would have to be a law passed, a constitutional amendment probably, and it would have to go through Congress. And Congress is not going to pass a law limiting their terms. That was a cover story. So he's up to some crap up there in South Carolina. And then this comes out. He was involved in a private phone call with supporters yesterday. Now, who the hell's a Ron DeSantis supporter? You know who's a Ron DeSantis supporter? A never-Trumper. NBC News. Ron DeSantis shares his concerns about Trump in a private call. Shares his concerns? I got concerns about you. We got a damn measles outbreak here. You know, I got a notice. Last week, my homeowner's insurance is going up another $2,400 a year. Another $2,400 a year. Thanks, Governor. I know you don't own a house or a car, and these things don't faze you. You live in government housing. $2,400 more on top of last year's increase. I don't even know what last year's is. I'm afraid to know. Why is he spending time talking to Trump haters and at the South Carolina State House 4 days before the primary? Because he's working with these never-Trumpers still. He's working with these Lincoln Project, Karl Rove, Paul Ryan, Bushies, Nikki Haley supporters still. Oh no, but he endorsed Donald Trump. Yeah, I've heard that before. I won't run against him. Both of these jerks said it. And both of them ran against him. Oh, he said a negative thing or two about Nikki Haley. They have these lunatics are insane, okay? This guy's been walking around for a year in high heel shoes. These people are nuts. They think there's a path for Trump not to be the nominee. They think that he's going to go to jail. They might think that he's going to do something and Letitia James is going to arrest him over this seizure of Trump Tower fantasy they have. And that when the convention comes around, Nikki Haley's going to have a bunch of delegates, and he's got a couple from Iowa, and they're going to walk in and be the top and bottom of the ticket. I don't know if they'll do it in the Escalade like she did with those other guys she wasn't married to, behind the bar and the restaurant and the parking lot, but she'll be the top of the ticket, he'll be the bottom. I guess that is kind of like the Escalade, according to the one deposition. Why don't you do something about our homeowners insurance, DeSantis? Do you know how people are struggling with homeowners insurance in this state? He doesn't care. The measles outbreak, he doesn't care. He is obsessed, like Captain Ahab with Trump. Trump didn't do anything to you other than make you governor, DeSantis. I'm sorry your wife has expensive taste. Your wife and the Bushes whispering in your ear are the ones that ended your political career, DeSantis. Donald Trump gave you a political career. So Nikki Haley is working, it's the other way around. DeSantis is working with Nikki Haley and her operatives. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Yeah, these people are really low lives. Real low lives. I got no choice but to afford it. That's what it is. What am I going to do? Give up my house? It's crazy. It's $2,400 a year it increased. Yeah, that sucks. That's a lot of money. $2,400 a year. It sucks. Well, I've lived in the same house for 20 years, so coming up on 20 years. 20 years in March. Yeah, well, I live in Florida. Yeah, it was 56 degrees when I left the house this morning. Oh, my insurance is more than my property taxes. Oh, yeah. I don't know what the total is of my homeowner's insurance right now. I don't want to know. I just got to notice it's increasing another $2,400. I don't want to know. It went up last year, and I didn't get the total or anything because I didn't want to know because it's what it is. What it is. So I just let my wife handle. I didn't want to know. It just pissed me off. And then, but I opened up the letter telling me it was going up. It was. Yeah, I live in my van like Sarasota Tim. Yeah, and by the way, have you guys checked out Sarasota Tim? He's now living in this RV that's like, it's a coffin. It's called a teardrop. It's so damn tiny, it's a coffin. Yeah, retire at 62 off Social Security when you have no other income and live in a coffin. Sarasota Tim. What an idiot. All right, we're coming back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Yeah, if you're on hold, stand by. This thing with the homeowners insurance here in Florida. Ron DeSantis, he's on a tour to screw Trump over. Walmart Melania, she's upset, She had big plans and all this. This notice I got that my homeowners insurance went up $2,400 this year. It went up last year too, okay? And my homeowner's insurance is more than my property taxes now. And when this letter came in, it was very interesting how the letter came in. When it went up last year, I did not find out what my total homeowner's insurance is. I did not want to know because it would just tick me off. I didn't want to know. I like to live in bliss and denial about it and just let my wife handle it. And I opened up the letter from the insurance company last week because I'm like, why are they sending us a letter? And they told me that it's increasing $2,400 again this year, $2,400 a year. And I thought it was interesting that they told me what the increase is, but didn't tell me what the previous yearly rate was or the new yearly rate. They just gave me the increase. $2,400 a year increase. My in-laws live in a condo. They got this new assessment because of that collapse in Miami. That part of Miami Beach, the reason that condo collapsed in Miami Beach is because they were building a new high-rise next door. And when they build these high-rises, because if you go down a couple feet in Florida, you hit water. That's why there was this tragedy at the beach with the little girl. I've never seen someone kids dig a hole at the beach 5-6 foot deep. Are those Floridians? I mean, the family, that's crazy. If I would have seen kids doing that, I would have said something to the parents. Floridians, we know about things, okay? Like, you don't dig holes. They collapse in the sand. But anyway, the reason that condo collapsed in Miami, they're building the new condo next door. And when you build things in Florida, you got to put these huge pylons into the ground. And I remember when they built 595 when I was in middle school and high school. My parents live off Riverland Road in Fort Lauderdale, and I could hear them for years. These clicks miles away. When they were building the new condo next door, it caused an earthquake constantly. It was a daily seismic event. That's what caused the collapse. So anyway, my in-laws, their condo, they live in Palm Beach. They got everybody that owns condos, they got these assessments. They have to do new work on the condos in a response to the Miami collapse because they made an artificial earthquake next door. Where the hell is DeSantis? Do you know people that live in condos, especially seniors that are on fixed incomes, are really screwed in this state? Their homeowners insurance is going up, like mine. They got these new assessments that are thousands of dollars on their condos because of that Miami collapse a couple years ago. And what's DeSantis doing? Up in South Carolina, screwing Trump over, working with Nikki Haley and having phone calls talking about what a bad guy Trump is. Where is he? We got these assessments on condos. They're making homes unaffordable. I saw a new construction project yesterday in Boca off of 18th Street. In Boca. They're building these new homes and they have these signs up. Private rental community. What is that? It said private rental homes. What's a private rental home? I've never even heard that term before. What is that? Private rental home? What is that? What does that mean? I've never heard that phrase before. They're turning us into a renter's state because homeowners insurance is too high. These condo assessments. We got a measles outbreak. We have people in Florida that don't know that you can't dig holes like that with your kids at the beach. That's a thing. Everyone in Florida knows you can't dig a hole 5-6 foot deep at the beach. By the way, how did they do that? When I was a kid, I just had a pail with a little shovel. I don't know what with the... And what's this? Where's our governor? Checked out. You know why? He doesn't care about Florida. He only used Trump and us to become governor because he and Walmart Melania wanted to be president and first lady. Well, you screwed that up, Ron. These are sick. He's so lucky we don't have a recall system in Florida like they have in other states. He'd be out. He would be out. We'd have a new governor. Don Jr. is my pick. Byron Donald's my number 2 pick. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, I would like to have been a fly on the wall when Joe Biden received that news that Jim Biden threw out that diamond.
Oh, please. Do you think James Biden threw the Chinese diamond away?
I'm just saying, because
no way.
She's trying to hold this criminal empire together with her hands, and she's pissed off.
I bet you, Jill Biden called up James Biden yesterday and said, "Where's that diamond? Where's my diamond? Where's that diamond?" I promise you, she did.
Yeah, she's an angry woman, you know, because she's having to look after the dementia president, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's and you're right to talk about what they're trying to do in South Carolina with him trying to stab Trump in the back again.
And this phone call, by the way, this didn't leak out. Ron DeSantis wanted this known. He went up there with this, whatever he's doing with the State House, that whatever he was doing up there, and now this. He's advertising that he's working with Nikki Haley. He's advertising it.
And here's the deal. I'm looking at all the people that have already said that they're all Trump from South Carolina, including Tim Scott, including Nancy Mace, including a lot of the Republican office holders in Carolina. How many people do they expect to get to change their
Yeah.
Trump?
We got a bad connection, Mike. You're cutting it out, but I appreciate the call, all right? Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Bryan. Me.
You okay? You pulled a Biden on me.
I'm getting demented, I think.
Bryantown. You're calling from Bryantown.
The only thing that happened to that ring is that either got sold and the money went to good old Joe, and he can say, I have dementia and don't remember.
No, James, his brother stole the diamond. His little brother stole the diamond. Give me a break. James Biden threw the diamond away? Are you kidding me? No.
You know, and Ron DeSantis is bought and paid for, and I don't think Trump should ever trust him. And I don't know if he's even in the thinking of being with the Trump cabinet or anything. I can't believe that Trump would use him for anything. And I don't think that guy could be a dog catcher in any 50 states.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. You know, Ron DeSantis is unelectable forever. I've been saying that for a long time. And this crap that he's pulling right now in South Carolina, this is sick. He is a sick, deranged man. We got a lot of problems in Florida. I just went through some of them. You know, this $2,400 a year increase of my homeowner's insurance. I mean, that's a lot of money on top of last year's increase. And everyone's dealing with this in Florida. And he doesn't care. He lives in government housing. He doesn't even own a car. Loser.
Yeah. You know, the goal of the globalists is that you will own nothing and be happy. They're going to make it like with our taxes, insurance, make things so unsustainable for Americans that you won't be able to own anything. I really think that's part of their agenda, because they can't take over the world with a free America. We're the last stand for freedom, for human rights, for God-given rights on the planet. We're the last stand for freedom.
Yeah, well, what you're talking about, you say globalist, but it's really that's what the communists do. They don't want any private property ownership except theirs.
But that's part of the new world order they want. You know, they've already talked about going cashless.
And by the way, it's not a diamond ring that James threw away. It's a diamond, not a diamond ring, a diamond, which really tells you the kind of value that's on the stone, right? That it's valuable just on its own. It's not a piece of jewelry, a diamond that he claims to have thrown away. Give me a break. What a liar. There's no way he threw a diamond away, James Biden. No way.
You know, the only thing that makes sense to me is that they sold that and good old Joe got the money.
No, James got the money. James got the money.
But if they say it got stolen, did they ever put in an...
You can't put an insurance claim on a bribe. It was James Biden's story is that the diamond was given to Hunter as a bribe. And Hunter gave it to James to get an appraisal, and James said, I threw it away. BS.
It's receiving a diamond?
No. He admits that Hunter received a diamond for a bribe, and he was in possession of the bribe, but he threw it away.
Well, they both just committed fraud.
They've admitted, they admitted that he admitted that Hunter's an agent for the Chinese. All right, I got to run, Jeff. Thanks for the call. We're late for the break. Call us on hold. Stand by. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
No, Sarasota quit his job. That's why he does 5 YouTube videos a day. That's his new prison job, is YouTube. And this new RV he has, the Cramper, which he did not call it the Cramper. It originated from, there's a YouTuber who's hilarious, and this guy has a YouTube channel just roasting these RV van life people. It's called Blind Views, and he's blind, and he has a YouTube channel. And he started calling Sarasota Tim's new RV the Cramper. Now Sarasota Tim's calling it the Cramper. And I saw him give a tour of it. It's a damn coffin. I mean, you look at it, it's like this is an RV for Dracula. I mean, you gotta see it. I emailed Sarasota Tim to do a collab with me. He never got back to me. I'd like to go and show everybody this coffin he's living in. It's ridiculous. This shirt, I've got 2 of the exact same shirt. I've had this. I got this shirt years ago, and President Trump has seen this shirt in person. And if you can't see what it says, it's George Washington. The hat says "Make America." No, I don't hate Sarasota Tim. I just think he's not being honest with his audience there. My goodness. He retired on Social Security at 62. All right. You get less. You can take your Social Security at 62 if you can afford to, or you absolutely have to. And he has this channel telling people this is the way to live. And now he's living in this cramper of a camper that is like a coffin. He gave this tour of it. I couldn't believe how small it was. It looks like something that me and my dad would have taken if we were fishing when I was a kid off of Lake Okeechobee and sleep in one night. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm talking about these prices in Florida going through the roof. Homeowners insurance, crazy. My insurance has not gone up as much as a lot of other people's has. By the way, that's $2,400 increase just this year. That's not including last year's increase. these assessments on condos because of the Miami collapse. And I read a story today that the average American family are spending 11% of their income on food. Great job, Biden. I'm sorry, we don't get Chinese diamonds. You know? And that's why, you know, when it comes to retirement, you want to talk to an expert, and that's Jupiter Joe Thomas, because he is, not only is he an expert when it comes to retirement, he's been doing this for over 30 years, 3 decades. I'm so upset today. I got to tell you, I'm so ticked off today. And I'm angry at DeSantis, quite honestly, guys. This thing I found out just ticked me off. I was in a good mood because my dogs live. I didn't have to put my dog down yesterday, and then DeSantis is betrayed. But anyway, Joe Thomas has been a retirement expert. He's been in the business for 3 decades, over 30 years. And these things that I'm talking about, he can factor in to your retirement plan. He's an expert. He's been dealing with this for 3 decades. Give him a call. You know, he's offering no-charge phone consultations if you mention you heard about him on the radio, and that's no matter where you are in America. It's also offering free copies of his book, The Retirement Know-It-All. His number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. You can get the number there, jupiterjoe.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lake Worth. Good morning, Brian Sal.
Hey, Al.
A couple days ago, you said you admired Clarence Thomas, and you claimed that you're practicing Catholic. With all the grit that man's been guilty of, it's just mind-boggling. But I just heard that Nikki Haley outraised Trump last month, which is he's lost 300,000 contributors from 4 years ago. What does that tell you about his statement?
Well, I don't know that what you told me is true or not, but I'll assume it is for the discussion, okay? The reason that Nikki Haley, if what you say is true, has an increase in donors is because Democrats, some top Democrats, the Democrats are now fundraising for her. So she doesn't have just Republicans, she also has Democrats. So the increase would be in Democrats donating to her. So what I would say is she's a Beatrice Arnold.
Well, see, the thing is, when Trump gets convicted either in April or May, they're going to revisit the fact of the 14th Amendment taking him off the ballot.
The 14th Amendment? Can I ask you, what's the 13th Amendment? All right, what about the 15th Amendment?
This Saturday morning, I forgot what the 13th Amendment.
Yeah. Oh, so what I'm trying to establish is you're not a constitutional expert, and you're just regurgitating some talking point.
In college.
Maybe you can tell me what the 7th Amendment is.
I can tell you what the 5th Amendment is.
Everybody knows the 5th Amendment. Everybody knows the 5th Amendment. The right against self-incrimination. Everybody knows that. What's the 3rd Amendment? So you don't know anything about the Constitution, but you're giving us constitutional analysis of the eligibility of President Trump to be president? What's the matter with you?
Barry Silver will tell you I know.
I don't want to talk to Barry Silver. I'm talking to you.
Okay, well, see, the thing is, what I believe...
What you believe?
Well, no, the fact is, they're doing delayed tactics.
Why should someone vote for Joe Biden and not Donald Trump in November?
Well, there's not going to be it.
Why? I didn't ask that. Why should someone vote for Joe Biden and not Donald Trump in November?
The bills that have been passed in the last 3 years, the CHIPS Act we spoke about already.
The what?
$500,000.
I'm hearing vague generalities. Okay, I want a specific thing. What will Joe Biden do to make my life better? Why should someone vote? How will he make someone's life better if this senile old coot is reelected with his crime boss wife, fake Dr. Jill?
They're going to pass that you'll be able to be eligible for Medicare at 55 years old next term.
No, they're not. We're going to have a Republican Congress, and that's a stupid idea. So free crap for people? Free crap for people? Are you kidding me? That's a reason not to vote for him.
The 3rd District of New York just went Democrat. When
I don't care about New York. I'm talking about Joe Biden. Can you give me an example in this first term of this senile old corrupt coot? Can you tell me one thing that is better in my life because Joe Biden's been president for 3 years? Why should I be promoting Joe Biden and not Trump? How is my life better because of this jerk?
Well, maybe your life was not better.
Oh, so you agree my life is not better because of Joe Biden has done nothing to make my life better?
Didn't you say you were thinking about buying an electric car?
No.
Yeah, you mentioned it 7 months.
A few years ago, I thought it would be cool, and then after we had that hurricane, and when they got flooded, they were bursting in the flames with people in them, I said they're a bad idea. My brother-in-law took his family to Disney World. He got halfway to Orlando and ran out of juice. That's when I said, there's no way.
Lord didn't properly charge it.
He didn't. He drives it to work every day. He has a long drive, and he thought he had the mileage, but he didn't factor in the 3 bodies that are not there when he drives to work, and he didn't factor in the luggage, the weight. So back to this. Is there anything in my life or your life, I'll give you your life too, that you can point to that is better because Joe Biden's been president, not Trump?
You know what gets me is you really believe that.
No, I'm asking you to enlighten me. I want you to blue pill me. Blue pill me. I'll be the first man blue pilled. I'll have to get a blue members only jacket. I'm wearing a red members only jacket now. Tell me how your life and my life is better because Joe Biden's been president for 3 years. You're a Democrat. That should be easy.
You know something? They passed the CHIPS Act, which is...
What is that?
What is the CHIPS Act?
Yeah, and what does it do to me? What do I get from that?
Future cars being built in the future are going to be less expensive because we're not importing the chips from
Microchips? That doesn't help me. No, I'm talking about in the time he's been president, Donald Trump gave us largest tax decrease in decades. That was huge. Huge. Let me tell you guys something. When Donald Trump, this is amazing. When Donald Trump was president, I got a tax refund for the first time in all the years I've been married. I got a tax refund for the first time because of Donald Trump's tax cuts. First one I ever got when my wife and I, since we've been married. So what has Joe Biden done other than cost us lots of money?
I think, again, $7.3 trillion in debt during his 4 years.
I don't care about government debt. Doesn't bother me. They make money. So you can't think of one thing. You can't think of one thing that Joe Biden has done to make your life or my life better in the 3 years that he's been running this country.
We're at a 50-year low in unemployment in this country.
You've been unemployed since I've known you. I've never missed a day of work since I was 16. That's not because of Biden. I don't want these vague blanket. You're very lucky there's only 58 seconds left of the hour, so you don't have much long to suffer, okay? Give me one example of how my life or your life is better specifically because Joe Biden is president.
What Biden do you want about me being unemployed? How do I afford living in D.C. and down in Florida at the same time?
So you can't think of anything. You can't think of anything. Goodbye. I tried to get blue-pilled people. I wanted to be the first person blue-pilled. We could probably have TV crews at the radio station. MAGA man blue-pilled. True oldies be all over national news. That says it all. If you're on hold, hang in there. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Even Democrats can't defend Joe Biden or tell you why you should vote for him and not Trump. That's great. 1-888-465-2631. Toll-free call, 888-465-2631. It's The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach. W. Meyer KHD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canal.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. Oh, man, I hope the president was listening to that. Wouldn't you love Trump to hear that call? I'd love the president to hear that call. I mean, he couldn't even think of anything. We'll be back shortly, guys. It's our top of the hour break. All right, callers on hold, stand by. Oh, man, you know, they're celebrating in the news that we're landing an unmanned probe on the moon. I mean, we landed men on the moon 55 years ago. before I was born, before most people were born. You know, why are they celebrating doing less than we did 55 years ago? I don't understand. All right, let's go to the phones. I'm going to take these calls in the order in which they were received. I'm not going to do any recapping, but I did bring up a lot of good stuff in the first hour, I must say. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy. Once, twice. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie, the bus driver. What's up?
Yeah, I got to tell you something. I don't know how you got to be on some kind of medication today to give out 15 minutes.
Yeah, sawdust, just like Hunter, right?
Oh my God, listen. I know he's still listening. I mean, he must have a sheet of talking points that they give him. This guy is such a dumbass. I have to say this. Because I don't like knocking people, and I don't really know him. He's got to be the dumbest human being that's ever.
No, he's a typical Democrat.
Oh my God, is he stupid? And on top of that, you're giving him some kind of low-level position because he's a suck, you know what? And with them, and they flying him back. Well, he's useless. He's useless garbage. All he talks about, he just says hit job, one hit job after the other. He's ridiculous. Now I'm going to try to make you feel better. You didn't get a bill for your homeowners association, did you? You just heard about it, right?
No, I don't have a. You mean my insurance, my prop? No, it's not. They told me it's done. It's up.
Well, from what I understand, it's only property within the beach, 1 mile of the beach, all over the state of Florida, because of the hurricanes. The condos and the houses. Anybody inland is not going to get hit with that raise.
No, I got the raise. I got the raise. I talked to my insurance company. I called them up because I wanted to clarify. I wanted to clarify whether or not this was just updating me on last year, or is that for this new year? And they said no, it's an increase for this new year on top of last year's.
Not for nothing. That's ridiculous, Brian.
What am I going to do? I've lived in the same house. It'll be 20 years in March. What am I going to do? Sell it and move with the increased?
Move. You're in a city that's people don't realize it, but Boca Raton is like super high end. Maybe not where you are.
I appreciate it, Richie.
I'm talking about West. But Boca Raton is like the ultra rich. I mean,
but not the part I'm in. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness, $2,400, and that's on top of last year's increase, and that really sucks. I mean, it really sucks, and it pisses me off. And here's DeSantis up in South Carolina colluding with Nikki Haley and the Bushes still against Trump. See, a lot of people say, well, what do you want the governor to do? What I want him to do is have a meeting with the insurance companies and do something about this, but he doesn't care. He's pissed off at us. Florida's a MAGA state, okay? So he's pissed off at us because we're MAGA people here. He doesn't care about us anymore. He got reelected as governor for the second term. That's all he wanted. He doesn't care about us anymore. He treats us, Ron DeSantis treats Floridians like a guy does after he finally gets a girl in bed and then he ghosts her. He has ghosted us. He has ghosted us.
Yeah, well, Nikki Haley is total. I got to tell you something. She's garbage, man. And Al mentioned, well, how come she's out? The Democrats are paying because Biden can't campaign. Don't you see when Biden's speeches are all clips and cuts because he can't say a sentence? I mean, he's so gone. He's got glassy eyes.
The Democrats are trying to keep Nikki Haley in this because they think that they may be able to keep Trump off the ballot by convention time. She'll have delegates for losing. She'll have some delegates. And they'll say, well, she's got X number of delegates because she came in last or second place. So we're going to nominate her. That's why the Democrats are backing her. They think there's a way for her to possibly get the nomination. These are sick people.
But it's the Republicans are sick, the Democrats are sick, and the only ones that are not sick, believe it or not, are people that are for Trump. Most of the American people that I know, working people, they're not for this garbage that they're trying to.
It's true. I mean, look at this. Look at this thing they're going to give Adams, who, President Trump, he was so right when he told Laura Ingraham the other night that Mayor Adams in New York was against this illegal thing. Then they threatened him, right? They arrested his campaign manager, and now all of a sudden he's just following orders now. He's giving $1,500 credit cards to the illegals because they don't like the bagged lunches, and $1,500. And, it's for food. It's on a credit card, debit card. They can use it for anything. And I got news for you. In the now that everyone's cell iPhone is a credit card machine, you can buy illegal drugs with credit cards now just on the dealer's phone. They all got Square on their phone.
In New York City, Brian, they're giving them the money because the crime is getting out of control. Because in New York City, they can't work. So what they're doing, they're flooding the streets. It's like you never see anything like it in your life. You can go on YouTube and see it. They're all over the place, just hanging out.
What's going on in New York, and this is, I think I said this on the, I do this show, my podcast, my YouTube channel, and sometimes I forget what I say on which thing. But I said this on one of the broadcasts a couple days ago, and this sounds like I'm making a joke. This is not a joke. This is true. Criminals are traveling to New York just to do crime because they can get away with it, and then they go back to wherever they really live. And that's true. That's true.
They're giving them the money as a bribe, figuring maybe if we give them that kind of money.
Now, what do you think about this BS story? James Biden told Congress yesterday that he threw away a second diamond that Hunter was given by the Chinese because the Bidens don't do peddle influence.
No, first of all, that diamond, okay, let's be straight about that. That diamond isn't a little chip that I would give my wife because I can't afford a big chip. The bottom line is...
It's a real diamond. It's not the kind of diamonds you and I buy, especially in the neighborhood I live in, right? It's a real diamond, a valuable diamond.
Very valuable and very big.
A museum piece, something you would see in a museum.
Right, and I believe in my heart that this guy is such a scumbag and lowlife like the rest of them, that he took it and he sold it. He didn't throw it away. He'd be stupid to do that. He took the cash.
Or it's in a rolled up sock in the back of his closet.
No. Then he would have to get rid of it. He probably and by the way, he's like Fanny. Everything's a cash deal. You can't trace cash. So he all he has to say is I threw it out. But he probably sold.
But he admitted that they were buying influence. All right, Richie, take care. Thanks for the call. I'm going to take another. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Name's Ralph.
Speak up, Ralph.
I'm going to throw you an idea, and I want you to run with it.
Oh.
So I believe Trump's going to be the president. I have no doubt about that. And I think the Democrats know that, too. So what do they do with the down ballot so they control the House and the Senate and keep Trump from...
You want me to run with that? You want me to run with that? What does that mean? What do you do for a living?
I drive a truck.
Okay. When I'm going to start driving a truck, I'll call you and you can tell me how to drive a truck. Don't tell. I mean, that's a terrible idea. That's like that would put the audience to sleep talking about down ballot possibilities. I mean, my goodness, that's like we turn the show into a sleep aid if I did that.
All right, no, you misunderstood me. You misunderstood me.
I know what you're trying to say. They'll take over Congress.
They're going to try to take over Congress because they know they can't win the.
Okay, it sounds like a good idea when you're okay. All right, hey, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. See, I told you I shouldn't have taken that call before the break, right? See, I should always go with my instincts. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. This Kia statewide sales event will be held only at one location, City Kia of Greater Orlando, just off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot.
Make that switch to City Kia.
This is Raul Gomila, General Manager of City Kia, the
Oh, man. If you're on hold, hang in there. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, Richie. You know, I live in Boca. Richie says it's an exclusive community, but not the part I live in. I appreciate that, Richie. Isn't that nice? Not the part I live in, like he knows where I live. But do any of you have the Nextdoor app? It's kind of like Facebook for your neighborhood. And I'm always following the Nextdoor app because you get to learn about criminal activity in your neighborhood. And people in my neighborhood all the time have their cars broken in, and they put photos from their doorbell cameras and house cameras on the Nextdoor app showing sometimes video, sometimes it's still photos of their car being robbed, and say, can you identify these people? And they got the wrong doorbell camera. They want the one from Sloman's. You know, they don't, they have some cheap doorbell camera they ordered off Amazon or something, unlike mine, where I get a notification when there's movement. So if someone's out there breaking into my car, before they even break into it, I'm going to get a notification from my Sloman's doorbell camera that there's movement out there, and I'm going to see it, and I'm going to call the police. These idiots, they got some cheap thing. What good is it when you're sleeping or in the middle of the night to have a video of your car getting robbed, broken into, when you get a notification before it even happens and you can call the police and stop it? Or you can turn the front porch light on, they'll run, but you still got them on the camera. See, that would never happen because I've got the Sloman's camera. I get that notification, and you can get one, too, for free. Let me go over this Sloman's offer. It's absolutely, you guys know what I'm talking about. Every time I see that, I'm thinking, idiots. Get the Sloman's camera. You can get the free doorbell camera, and I'll tell you how. Now, this offers limited time total home security package from Sloman's. You get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, and a backup battery. And you'll also get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Steve. Now, I wonder, you know, Richie said Boca's very exclusive, but not the part I live in. Which part are you in? Yeah. What, Richie?
Al, a few calls back, call in, and I just want you to know, I have an IQ meter where I can measure the IQs of the callers that call into the Steve Kane Show. And I want Al to know that prior to his call, he had held the record for the lowest IQ of any Steve Kane caller in 45 years. And he just broke the record with that last call.
Wow.
on a scale of 1 to 200, with 200 being a genius and 1 being nursery school, Al came in at 4.4. So he came in at just above nursery school level. And if there's any way we can send him an award for breaking his own record, I'd like.
Yeah, you're right. And I'll tell you, yesterday this lady called in, why do you talk to these liberals? We don't like them. She speaks for everybody. I made some incredibly brilliant points talking to that liberal idiot. And if President Trump heard that call this morning at Mar-a-Lago, I'd be proud of it. I hope he heard that call this morning. Or if someone from the Trump family heard that call, I'd be proud. What a great call. I'm trying to get this guy to blue pill me. He couldn't think of one thing even in his own life, that is better because of Biden.
To be a liberal is one thing, but to be an idiot is another. And Al may be a liberal, but he surely is an idiot.
Yeah, it's true. Well, aren't all liberals idiots when you get down to it, though?
Yeah. Anyway, I got plenty of us.
No, that's enough for today. No, you don't want to go on anything else. You want to end on a high note, which you indeed did. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
The first thing I want to say is, who do you have ever throws a diamond away? They sell it. They bring it to any jeweler, and the jeweler.
Let me just recap this. I went into this in detail in the first hour. James Biden, Joe Biden's scummy brother, testified in a closed-door hearing, which should not have been closed-door, by the way. Okay? Should have been. This isn't classified intel. He has no security clearance. But he told the committee yesterday, Joe Biden's brother, that the Chinese gave Hunter a second diamond for a bribe. Hunter gave the diamond to James and asked him to appraise it. And James Biden said, the Biden family, we don't take bribes. We are public servants. And he threw the diamond away. That diamond is either in a sock rolled up in the back of his closet like Bob Menendez's gold bars, or he sold it. And it's interesting that he admitted that Hunter Biden accepts bribes from the Chinese for peddling, and he confirmed the first diamond was a bribe, by the way. Talked about the second bribe. And I'm here to tell you that, this family's so scummy, they're stealing from themselves. That story is the whole takeaway from yesterday. No one's talking about it but me. And I promise you that Jill Biden heard about that diamond for the first time yesterday after that testimony. And she called up either James Biden or his wife and said, where's our money? Where's our diamond? You telling me? Oh, my goodness. So there's conflict going on inside the scummy Biden family.
Yeah. Well, and to say that in public, how dumb does he think people are? He's talking to Congress, and they expect them to say, oh, yeah, you threw it away. How nice of you. Oh, you're a good guy. What a ridiculous story, man. Come on. Come up with something better. That was almost as bad as Ted Kennedy walking around with his neck in that brace, pretending he had a neck injury after he killed Mary Jo Kovac. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, you mentioned these, the condo associations are robbing everybody with these increased assessments. I went to see a house by an old general who was living in. They had to give it up because of a $65,000 assessment to fix his little balcony.
Yes.
No way that balcony cost $65,000 to fix, but they're robbing them. And like you said, DeSantis is sitting there doing nothing. Listen.
Yeah, DeSantis has ghosted the entire state of Florida. When I got this notice that my homeowner's insurance is going up another $2,400 a year, that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. My homeowner's insurance is more than my property taxes.
Wow. Well, my taxes are a little higher, but still, my insurance keeps going up every year. Why is it going up so? Everything went up. That's their excuse. They're sick, man. They get away with it, and DeSantis lets them do it. I don't know why our Congress is Republican. Why they're not doing something in the state of Florida? Let
me tell you, the state legislature in Tallahassee are corrupt, those Republicans. Remember, the state legislature in Tallahassee changed the law allowing DeSantis to stay governor while he was running against Trump for president. So, the Republicans that run the state of Florida, they might as well be Democrats. They're not MAGA. they're corrupt, and these condo assessments, because of the Miami collapse and the insurance, it's a big deal in Florida. It's a big deal. And a lot of people, we're going to face a major crisis the next time there's a major hurricane, because many people, and I know people that have their homes paid for, are canceling their insurance policies. They and when we get a major hurricane and there's devastation, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble. And I know a lot of people that are canceling their homeowners policy because of it.
Yeah, I thought about it. I said, my luck, the hurricane will come and wreck the house, so I got to keep it. But man, it's tough to pay that. Every time I pay the insurance, I get sick.
Yeah.
Like, why? Well, I'm being ripped off terrible. Bad enough the car insurance is bad, but now the house.
And the reason I bring this up, I mean, people that are not full-time Floridians may not understand this or care, or people that are renters and don't own may not understand or care. But it's a big problem in Florida, and Ron DeSantis has left us. And there are things he could do, and he could at least have sit-down meetings with the insurance companies and try to work this out.
Or then the state has insurance as well. They can at least come up with something for the state. Maybe.
Well, the thing is, Ron DeSantis has never had a job outside of government. So, like anybody else who works for the government their entire life, they're incompetent. He doesn't know he doesn't own a house, he doesn't own a car. He doesn't care.
President Trump had him on the list of potential VPs. I hope now he said
he's not on the list. He's not on the list.
Oh, that's what I heard yesterday. I read it.
No, Laura Ingraham went through she named everybody in the book. I think, and then, I mean, no, he didn't say, he did not say, Ron DeSantis is on my list. Yeah, on his list of people to never let near him. That's on the list.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was like, oh my God, Ron DeSantis, no way. But, okay, now especially that he's saying nasty things about him again. This is really, he's done. Mm-hmm. Too bad we can't recall him.
I know. All right, Doug, take care. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Leather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach
Okay.
Club. Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The Moneymaker Tour is back in the poker room at PBKC.
Okay, I'm just queuing up a story I'm going to talk about in the next segment. My iPad is running low on juice.
Poker Pro Chris Moneymaker. You can also play your favorite table games every day with games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just $5 minimum tables. Go to pbkennelclub.com for more info.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton, because I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. It took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank
Someone commented on one of my YouTube videos, and they said, I didn't know that members-only jackets were back in style. And I responded, and I said, members-only jackets never went out of style, just like everything else from the 80s, right?
Whether you have a damaged fixer-upper home or a beautiful home that doesn't need any repairs, we can buy it. You don't need to clean or fix anything, and there's no commissions or closing costs. Sell your home easily on your terms. Call us today for a free offer. 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
Brian Craig here. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom at Laporta Contracting. With a AAA credit rating and bonded up to $10 million, Laporta Contracting doesn't get a large deposit like those other contractors do. Typical deposits other contractors want are 1/3 of the contract. If your job is $30,000, that's a $10,000 deposit. If your job is $300,000, that's $100,000. What are they doing with your money? Typically, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get a permit, and HOAs, much longer. If they need money for the materials, they don't have credit with the suppliers, and that spells bad news for the homeowner or HOA. Tom Laporta is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. LaportaContracting.com.
We'll be back right after this, guys. All right, we're back 37 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm very far behind on the breaks, so this will be a short segment, guys, so that I can catch up on the break schedule so we don't have a freight train of breaks from this point forward because we're past the midpoint of the show. So my apologies. It's my fault. We got a break clock. You know, our old board op, he would just cut me off in mid-sentence. Phew, gone. Oh, yeah. That was nice. Mid-sentence. But time for the break! Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to get another text message from them, like last time I mentioned them. Oh, my goodness. Everybody does. You got to assume everything you say is heard by everybody, because people I haven't heard from in years text message me about things. I referenced them without saying their name, and they know I'm talking about it. Anyway, the Fannie Willis case last week, when she was up there with her gigolo, I don't know, boyfriend. Did you see that? And her father, her Black Panther father, what a jerk he is. He came up there and gave his resume. Oh, I was the first to do all these things. What a jerk that raised her. And I was very ticked off at the judge. I talked about this judge, McCaffrey. This judge in the Fannie Willis case last week was acting as if he was her counsel, her lawyer, right? Listen to this. A financial disclosure has been unearthed. Oh, Al Knight just sent me a very funny text about the person I was talking about. Oh, my God. Al Knight, you're going to get me in trouble. radio guys are like a knitting circle, okay? Everyone gossips. Everybody at every radio station knows someone at every radio station. Oh, my goodness. You know, this happens all the time. The other day, I have this happen all the time. All the time. I've mentioned it once or twice. There's a radio station in this town in Miami, and I've done this several times. I hate driving to Miami. Because Miami's corrupt and they spend all the money they get on anything but of roads. Okay, the roads down there suck. And I text a friend of mine all the time when I go down there that I'm in a traffic jam, and then I turn on the radio. Our reporters in the field are reporting an accident at the, it's me texting, it's hilarious. The traffic on this station, though, these are real reporters. It's not this station. It's a big station in Miami. We have real reporters on True Oldies, right, Mike? Exactly. They don't get text messages from their friends and call them reporters. But anyway, listen to this. A financial disclosure unearthed has revealed a previously unknown connection between Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McCaffrey and Fulton County District Attorney and Sugar Mama Fannie Willis. Daily Caller is also reporting this. Judge McCaffrey, who is presently presiding over the high-profile case against the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, made a donation in 2020 to Fannie Willis's campaign of $150. McCaffrey's wife also made donations of $99 and $101 in 2018 and 2020. The donation recorded on June 18, 2020 is detailed in a comprehensive campaign contribution disclosure report for Willis's campaign. And I know what people are saying. So what? It's $150. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Trump took a loan from a bank, paid it back, no victims, and they're trying to seize Trump Tower. So now we know why the judge is in bed with, well, not the same way that her gigolo is, but the judge is in league, I should say, with Fannie. In what world does this guy not have to recuse himself? What's going on here? Everyone knows. Just like that Leonard Cohen song, everybody knows. Everybody knows that Trump didn't do anything wrong in one of these cases, right? Like this thing with Stormy Daniels. They're always bringing Trump's got a case with Bragg with her, which I don't even quite understand. So let me get this straight. Stormy Daniels was trying to blackmail Donald Trump, right? His scumbag lawyer, former lawyer, pays her some money, and Donald Trump's the criminal? I thought it's a shakedown. When it's extortion. When someone is a victim of extortion, they don't get in legal trouble for paying off the extortionist. If your kid is kidnapped and you pay the ransom, are you in trouble for paying the ransom? But now all of a sudden with this, Trump, give me a break. This whole thing in this big case in New York, they give him loans based on the value of his property. You don't go to a bank and say, give me a loan, this is what my property's worth. The bank has a responsibility. They appraise your property. They appraise your property and then tell you what the property is worth, and then they give you a loan. You don't tell the bank what your property is worth. Right? And I don't know how it works in other states. In Florida, what your property is valued at for tax purposes by the property appraiser is far below market value. It's like you go to these car dealers and they charge you well over the sticker price, right? They say adjusted market value. I really wish, because I don't plan on moving ever, I wish my home was worth what it's taxed at. Right? And my whole neighborhood was. I do. And people say, well, why? Because I'm never going to move, and people would be able to afford to move into my neighborhood instead of it turning into a rental community. But everybody's home is overvalued far above what their taxes say it is. That's why things are so unaffordable in Florida. All right, let's take our last break of the second hour, and we'll be right back.
Cold, hard truth. The Steve Kane Show.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you?
Great. What do you have for us today?
Some of the key differences between wills and trusts. One of them, of course, is when you die with a will, your assets are still in your name, and they go through the probate process. Any assets that are still in your name alone go through the probate process, and that, of course, is going to court. That means expenses, including attorney's fees, court costs, all kinds of expenses that can get very, very, very expensive. You have a lot of time involved, a lot of aggravation involved. It's a public process. So that's why you always hear people saying they want to avoid probate. And you do that by setting up a trust and funding your assets into the trust so that now your assets are titled in the name of the trust, your home, your bank accounts, brokerage accounts. But the other key difference about a trust, and it's called a living trust, is that it has living benefits. Where with a will, when you have assets, when you have a will, the will is only going to help you at the time of your death, whereas the trust, the assets, as I said before, are titled in the trust, and now those assets are going to be handled by the successor trustee that you name, who could step right in without anybody giving them a hard time, and they can handle anything for you so that you don't have to go to court. And it's almost like a probate, but it's called a guardianship proceeding, and have a judge end up choosing who's going to handle your affairs for you, spend a ton of money on attorneys and court costs, have a public process, and just have your family go through that aggravation when all you had to do was sign a piece of paper, essentially, sign your trust, so that you have the right people in place so that you don't have to deal with guardianship, you don't have to deal with probate. Those are some of the key differences between wills.
Yeah, let me ask. So, like, if I go to you and I get a revocable living trust done, and then 3 years later I buy a new house or a condo, and then I got a new financial account with a new financial planner, and I don't update my trust, what happens to that new property and financial account?
Well, that's really not an issue about updating the trust itself. That's more of a funding issue. So if you did a trust, let's say, today, and then in 3 years you bought a new property, all that you would need to do is to make sure that that property gets deeded into the trust. Or if you opened up a new account somewhere, you would just either need to open that account in the name of the trust, or if at some point you realized you didn't do that, you would just have to do the paperwork to transfer that account into the trust.
Well, it's easy for you because you're the expert attorney in this. I would imagine most people don't do that or even think of that. And when you do, when you do, you know what I mean? It's just like, well, you know. But when you review people's trust that are 3 years of age or older, I bet you find a lot of times they don't have these things properly funded in the trust, so they're not covered. Then they would have to go through probate then.
Well, certainly one of the things we do when we meet clients initially, for their initial free consultation, one of the questions we ask is, when they come in with an existing trust, are these assets titled in the trust? Which ones are, which ones aren't? And we could figure that out by looking at the looking at the account statements and all. But then for our existing clients, like you said in your example, usually 3 years after you did your trust, you bought a new property or opened new accounts. That's why we do those 3-year reviews.
Very important.
Sit down with the clients and make sure that any new assets, newly acquired assets, since they first did their trust, that they have the reminder to get those assets into the trust and they can get their questions answered as that.
And if they're not funded in the trust, named in the trust, I'm not the lawyer, Attorney Barry Siegel is, that means they'd have to go through probate, which is what you don't want, what you're trying to avoid, right? Well, listen, don't let these things happen to you. I mean, they don't have to happen. It's really just a simple phone call to the Siegel Law Group. the Siegel Law Group, if you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, will give not just a free consultation, but a free review of documents you may have already think you've got yourself set up with to make sure they're up to date. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group can help. Here's the number, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, back after this.
For breakfast, now the Steve Kane Show.
All right, 49 minutes after the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Did you see in San Francisco, a judge made a ruling that it is okay to hold MAGA people hostage? Did you see this with Riley? Riley Gaines is everything that Nikki Haley is not. She's a real feminist role model and icon. Girls should look up to Riley Gaines. She's got this crazy idea that to participate in women's sports, you should have to have a vagina that you were born with. That's so bizarre, you got to clarify such things. To play in women's sports, you have to be born with a vagina. Shocker. I know, that's radical today. That's radical today. Listen to this. She was held hostage by liberal students in San Francisco. The San Francisco University Police Department has suspended its investigation into Riley Gaines' hostage incident and assault last year, saying the charges are unfounded. Riley Gaines says she was assaulted and held hostage for ransom. Now, I believe Riley Gaines. Who are you going to believe? Riley Gaines or the San Francisco police? Let me ask you. I don't know that this is true or not. But I've heard this. I don't know if this is, I have no idea. I've never been to San Francisco. On their uniforms, do police have the American flag and the rainbow flag on their uniforms, on their sleeve? I don't know. I've heard that. I don't know. Riley Gaines says she was assaulted and held hostage for ransom. That maybe somebody local could tell me. Do they do that in Wilton Manors? They may. Riley Gaines said she was assaulted and held hostage for ransom in April 2023 after speaking at San Francisco State University about her experience in her senior year of college competing against male swimmer Leah Thomas. This is from Fox News I'm reading from, by the way. The two tied for 5th place in a swimming championship. Following Gaines' speech, she was met by a mob of violent liberal protesters that said she stormed into the room, turned off the lights, rushed the podium where she was standing, and assaulted her before holding her hostage. They stormed into the room, turned off the lights, rushed the stage where Riley Gaines was standing. Riley Gaines was then barricaded in a room after this assault. She said she was hit multiple times, even while she was under police protection. She said she followed up with the San Francisco State University Police Department last month on its investigation where I was held hostage, she says. She said, I wondered if they could share with me any conclusions. In an email dated February 2nd, an officer replied, after a thorough investigation, the charges in this case are unfounded and have been suspended. The officer said the department sent emails to Riley Gaines in June and July and went unanswered, blah, blah, blah. Wow. So it's okay to hold MAGA hostage now in San Francisco. That's, you know what's crazy about this story? The left. They don't even see themselves. Obviously, Riley Gaines was assaulted. Now, I remember when this story happened. She was barricaded in a room with university police officers, and they were banging on the doors. After they beat her up a little bit, they were banging on the doors saying that they would leave her alone if she paid them money. I can't remember how much money it was. That's what O.J. Simpson went to prison for. He had a gun, so it was an enhanced charge. But if you detain someone against their will, even without a weapon, and the weapon is just violence, hands, unless they pay you money, that is a hostage situation. It's also extortion when you make that ransom demand. And that's a serious crime. And I imagine that's a federal crime. Is that a federal crime? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. And, you see what we're talking about here. Yesterday I was talking about this thing with the opposition leader in Russia. I'm sorry the guy's dead. I don't know if Putin killed him. For all I know, Zelensky killed him or the CIA killed him. I don't know. But I do know this, that the opposition leader in this country, his name is Donald John Trump, has been arrested. They got a mugshot. They got him in like 8 court cases. Okay? And he's the leader of the political opposition. They're trying to seize the money in his personal bank accounts. They're talking about seizing the jewel of his real estate empire, Trump Tower, an icon of the city of New York, Trump Tower. He's the leader of the political opposition. So what's the difference between what Zelensky does to his political opposition and what Biden does to his? If you and you know what a Democrat say? Well, he deserves it. We're saving the country. Biden's saving the country. That's what a liberal would say. Well, you know what? Putin thinks the same way as you about what he's doing. And what's crazy about this whole thing is that the media, they don't even see this. And we're not even including the J6er political prisoners and the DC gulag. But the attacks on President Trump, he is the leader of the political opposition. And they're doing all these things to him. What's the difference? They're trying to put him in prison. In fact, Nikki Haley has an entire pathetic presidential campaign built on the fantasy that Trump is going to go to prison. The leader of the political opposition, who's going to cream her in South Carolina Saturday. What's going on here? Why are the media not seeing what we all see? I mean, look at Mike Lindell. You heard the story. Another judgment against him. $5 million. $5 million. Look what they're doing to him. He's political opposition. He's not the leader, but he is a leader. Mike Lindell is one of the top 10, maybe 5. Well, if I take everybody whose name's not Trump out of it, he's certainly in the top 5, but certainly, no doubt, in the top 10. He's in the top 5 or 10 political opposition leaders in this country against the Uniparty, against Biden and the Democrats. And look what they're doing to him. He was raided by the FBI, Mike Lindell. Remember that? He was in the drive-thru, and they surrounded him when he was up against the building, so, like he was El Chapo. They took his cell phone. This thing getting kicked out of Walmart. Biden made a deal with Walmart when he was vice president. Remember this? After one of the shootings, it might have been Sandy. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Sandy Hook. Remember Biden was the gun czar under Obama? And he got Walmart to stop carrying certain guns and ammo. Remember that? And you know what you don't hear anymore? You don't hear people talking about unionizing Walmart workers, do you? The Democrats had a campaign that was going on for a decade. I used to hear spots on the radio, even during Rush's show, about unionizing Walmart workers. So Biden went to Walmart and said, you know what? Stop carrying those guns and ammo. We'll get the unions off your back. And you know what? They did get them off their back. So then they go to him again. That's a fact, what I just told you. They go to him again. Walmart, the largest retailer in America, kicked out Mike Lindell because he's one of the leaders of the political opposition. Now they got a $5 million judgment against him. And this is not the only multi-million-dollar judgment against him that he's faced because he supports Trump. So what they accuse Putin of doing is happening right here in America. Yeah. I'm going to, yes, I am going to get to the part of telling you to use our promo code Kane at MyPillow. K-A-N-E. It's free shipping on all products site-wide at MyPillow.com. Every item at MyPillow.com is free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Plus, you get the deal. Whatever the discount is, like the MyPillow mattress topper 50% off, you get the 50% off plus free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Support Mike Lindell, support this radio station, support our program when you do that too. But you see what's happening to the political opposition in this country. It's happening. We're seeing it. We're living through it. So how can I be concerned about Putin when we have a bunch of Putins in this country oppressing the political opposition here? We're going to take our break for the top. We'll get back to the phones after the top of the hour. I got some news stories I haven't touched on yet, and I do want to recap on a couple that I brought up in the first hour because I think they're important enough to recap. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robe's Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robe's, winning for you and our community. For the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to an awesome start. We'll see a daytime high today of about 73 to 75. It'll be more mild and we'll see partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. I'm WTV on 29 first warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
West Palm Beach, we have a multi-vehicle crash now along I-95 westbound to 45th Street. Two right lanes are blocked by the scenes and stop and traffic start to fall on the approach. We're seeing stop and go on 95 and the turnpike from Deerfield Beach and Boca, and a multi-vehicle crash on 10th Avenue North at Florida Mango Road, also known as Boca to Grandview Boulevard. This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options and easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations. That's traffic from Smart.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. It's showtime in the Paddock Restaurant at ABKC with an exciting
All right.
March 1st and 2 shows each. Prepare for Rolla in March and Polly Shore in April. And check out the fabulous dinner show. It's so good, the Neil Diamond Experience in March and Patty Nix in April. For tickets and info, go to babykennelclub.com.
Hey, check your phone. Someone's on your doorstep and is trying to look for a way into your home. If no one is monitoring your home, then you need to call Sloman's now. Sloman's is giving you a free $1,500 value home security system with professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. Call 833-283-5050 and learn more about this incredible limited-time total home security package. You're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 10 entry points, a lifetime service plan, professional installation, and battery backup. Call 833-283-5050 and you'll also get a free doorbell camera with the installation of the That's 833-283-5050. Sloman, the difference is human.
Hey, it's Scott from Margaritaville at Sea. Make planning your next adventure in 2024 a breeze with Margaritaville at Sea's fan favorite buy one, get one free sale. Whether you're looking for a quick weekend getaway to soak up the Caribbean sun or family fun on a longer vacation to Key West in Mexico, Margaritaville at Sea's got you covered with cruises for two starting at just $99. Use your savings to splurge.
Unbelievable. Where is that?
Aboard the all-new Islander and save up to $1,500. Unlock the ultimate license to chill and book your tickets to paradise today at MargaritavilleAtSea.com.
So I'm over.
That's a clip of Tucker I'm going to play in a bit. So they're playing the Mike Lindell $5 million story at the top of the hour news. I just heard it. All right, we're coming back.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. 5 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Okay, so you see this nonsense story that they're telling us this FBI informant that gave Comer all this bank account information that he lied? Really, he lied? So are they telling us that Biden does not have a bank account in Cyprus that had $10 million from Burisma wired to it? And that Biden was not the first vice president since Lyndon Johnson was vice president to visit Cyprus? Are they telling us that didn't happen? Because I missed that part of the story. I don't buy any of that. Do you buy that? Oh yeah, I forgot. All the intel came from the laptop of Hunter's anyway, so why is that such a big deal? Total misinformation campaign, and the media are sick. You know, there's a story today with... Do you see this thing with Meghan McCain? Meghan McCain. Yeah, her husband's on Fox all the time. I forgot her husband's name. He's a chubby guy with a beard, you know. And I was wondering, how is this guy? Why is he on Fox? Why do people care? Then I find out he's married to Meghan McCain. Meghan McCain called Carrie Lake a witch with a B yesterday. You see this? Oh, yeah. A witch with a B. That's Meghan McCain. Yeah, their daughter raised by... Class act there, Meghan. All that McCain DNA. You know, John McCain was the one that they gave the Russian dossier to. Let's not forget that. The fake Russian dossier. Christopher Steele gave the dossier to John McCain. How does anyone meet in a D.C. park at night a sitting United States senator, who's one of the most famous ones, who also was a presidential candidate, and then McCain gave the fake dossier to Comey, J. Edgar Comey. Okay? That started all this. So if you want to talk about witches, Meghan McCain with a B, look at your own low-life family. As scummy as the Bidens, as scummy as the Clintons, and her father was the worst. That's right. You know, I mean, these are just low-life people. And this story that the FBI guy lied, I don't buy any of that. He gave them a report, an FBI report. And I haven't heard any of the reports say that Joe Biden, when he was vice president, did not travel to Cyprus and doesn't have a bank account that Burisma wired $10 million to. And certainly, he didn't use some AI deepfake to get that video of Joe Biden talking about the shakedown he did of the prosecutor in Ukraine who was investigating Burisma. And he threatened to cut off all U.S. funding to Ukraine over it. Remember that? What you know, this media, they're all fake. The media are all part of the deep state. That's just the way it is. So Tucker Carlson in Russia was they were attacking him because he was talking about how safe the subways were in Moscow. Did you see they found a leg miles down the track on the New York subway? Did you see that story today? It's unbelievable. You know, he said some nice things about Russia. Okay. I don't know. I haven't been to Russia. I've heard a lot of people say great things about Russia. He said some great things, and they attack him for it. And one of them was Boris Johnson. You know, this guy, this Boris Johnson, we used to think he was going to be the UK Trump. Another Ron DeSantis. You know? And did you see this? So let me play this. Tucker, if you're on hold, stand by. I meant to play this yesterday, and I didn't get to it. Boris Johnson is out there trashing the great Tucker Carlson, the most trusted journalist in the world. The most trusted man in the world is Donald Trump, but Tucker's the most trusted journalist in the world. Okay? And Tucker Carlson tried to get an interview with Boris Johnson. Since Boris Johnson's calling him a Putin puppet propagandist, he wanted to sit down with Boris Johnson, Tucker, and talk to him about it. And he relayed the story of what happened. Did you guys see this? To Glenn Beck. Listen to this. This is Tucker.
In Moscow, I'm waiting to do this interview. It gets out that we're doing it, and I'm immediately denounced by this guy called Boris Johnson, who was for a short time the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And Boris Johnson calls me a tool of the Kremlin or something, and I'm thinking, well, that's kind of, I mean, his name's not actually Boris, as I'm sure you know. His name is Alex Johnson. He called himself Boris in high school. So the guy who calls himself Boris is accusing me? So I was annoyed, so I put in a request for an interview with Boris Johnson, as I have many times, because he's constantly denouncing me as a tool of the Kremlin. He says no. So I'm thinking about getting more annoyed. So I know a lot of people who know Boris Johnson. So I reach out to them. Finally, one of his advisors gets back to me and says, he will talk to you, but it's going to cost you $1 million. He wants $1 million in US dollars, gold, or Bitcoin. No, this just happened yesterday or 2 days ago.
Gold or Bitcoin? Wait, is he trying to avoid taxes in the UK, Boris Johnson?
So I reach out to them. Finally, one of his advisors gets back to me and says, he will talk to you, but it's going to cost you $1 million. He wants $1 million in US dollars, gold, or Bitcoin. No, this just happened yesterday or 2 days ago. And I'm like, he wants $1 million. Yeah. And then he will talk to you about Ukraine. He will explain his position on Ukraine and explain what. So he attacks me without explaining how I'm wrong, of course, or how he's right. This is, by the way, the guy who single-handedly, at the request of the U.S. government, stopped the peace deal in Ukraine 1.5 years ago and is, I think, for that reason, responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. He won't explain any of that to me in an interview until I pay him $1 million. And I said to the guy, I just interviewed Vladimir Putin. I'm not defending Putin, but Putin didn't ask for $1 million. So you're telling me that Boris Johnson is a lot sleazier, a lot lower than Vladimir Putin. Okay. Which is...
Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah. What's Boris? And he wants in gold or Bitcoin? What is he? Senator Menendez? He wants gold or Bitcoin? Or cash? It sounded like. What did he think Tucker was going to do with that information? I guess he thought he was like all the other journalists, cover for him. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jersey Mike, West Palm Beach.
Hey, Mike.
You guys are doing another great show there, as I always say. And you know what? I got to compliment you because you know all the details, and they're all accurate over the span of a lot of time. I would say that also another thing my dad told me when I was very young, don't ever trust the government. He was a World War II veteran. And it's been true ever since. Every example that goes along. Now, this guy Biden wants to give asylum to over 13 million people that have walked across the border.
That's right.
And they're invaders to this country. I mean, people are very dangerous. They're killing people right now.
That's correct.
Some of those people. So I'm just saying this country is going down the tubes fast.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
By the way, one last thing, as far as the news is concerned, there's two discrepancies that stand out in my mind. And I saw the one in 1969 on a TV, the landing on the moon. Well, they say that they meant that have ever happened because there's no shadow behind the American flag that was put in the ground when Neil Armstrong said, one step for man, one giant leap for mankind. That might have been filmed in a studio.
Yes, they believe. A lot of people believe that Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing on the sets of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yes, I know. I've seen the documentary. It's on Netflix or something.
But the other example, the good one is John F. Kennedy was not assassinated by a guy who went and bought Lee Harvey Oswald from the 7th floor of the book depository in Dallas when Kenny was driving down in an open convertible slowly but about 10 miles per hour.
Yeah.
From there, with a $29 no sight rifle he bought in Sears, you're not going to hit a target that's 5 inches wide.
You know, people say this. Have you ever been to Dealey Plaza?
Yes.
Okay, I went there, and so you've been there, and you can take a tour. The book depository is a museum, and what shocked me about Dealey Plaza is how tiny it is. It's like a miniature. Anybody could have made that shot. It's like it's especially up high.
I'm military.
You could make that shot with a slingshot. It was
Well, exactly. It's not going to happen. It's all. And that's what our news does. And you know why they do it? I was told a long time ago by another World War II veteran. The news does this because they can't sell anything, so they want to sensationalize.
No, it's not that. The news are an arm of the intelligence community to control public opinion. The news is used to control public opinion. Okay?
Conspiracy going on. One last thing.
Well, a conspiracy doesn't mean it's not true. You know, and by the way, thanks for the call, Mike. And you look at this thing with he talks about the Kennedy. Robert Kennedy Jr. has got a lot of wackadoodle liberal ideas, okay? Very liberal guy. But he does believe the military-industrial complex killed his dad and his uncle, and he said both of them, his dad was running on withdrawal from Vietnam, and his uncle was going to bring back and not build up what we had in Vietnam. He said after both of their deaths, there was a major increase in Vietnam of military activity. So I agree that was behind all of that, no doubt about it. Now, this thing about the moon landing, I just say this, because I do believe that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin went to the moon. Okay, I do believe that. I believe it for many reasons, but the main reason is that the space program is so large and there's so many people involved in it. The conspiracy of silence would have to be in the hundreds of thousands. And there's no way that for over 50 years you would be able to keep a conspiracy that large just silent. There's just no way, okay? So I do believe that. But these amateur landings they're doing, like this thing today, as they're talking about at the top of the hour of the news. Now, NASA may not allow them to do this, but what I'd like them to do is one of these little unmanned probes, land it at the moon landing site of Buzz and Neil Armstrong so people can see the stuff there. It still wouldn't be enough for a lot of people, but that would be interesting, as opposed to seeing more rocks that we've seen our whole lives, gray rocks. You go to those sites, people would still find things, like the flags. The flags on the moon landing are now all white because of the sun on them all that long without any atmosphere. And also, I do believe that Neil Armstrong's flag got knocked down, that they planted it too close to the lander, and when they took off, the thrust from the lander knocked the flag down. I do believe that NASA has said that. But if they went to the sites, at least we could see the moon buggy on some of those other sites. They didn't have it on the first one or something, so people would know. All right, listen, we'll take our first break of the third hour and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty
Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at
All right, welcome back. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. They have the lowest tires on anywhere. Friendly Tire in Margate. I've been buying tires there for 15 years or so, and you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $70 a tire. And when you call Friendly Tire and Friendly Mike gives you a price over the phone, that's out the door and on the road, meaning it includes balancing the tire, mounting your tire, and disposing of your old tire. Okay? There's no fees on top of the price he quotes you. They're low, low, low. When my daughter moved to California, we shipped a car to her. Before we did, I got her 4 new tires, Firestone. He has all the name brands. She didn't even need new tires yet, but I knew she would out there, and I didn't want to buy her tires out in California. I went to Friendly Tire in Margate and got her 4 new Firestones. He has all the name brands, Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli. If you have run flats, I've got run flats on one of my cars, and the lowest price you'll find on run flats. He has thousands of good used tires in stock at low prices, and he also does tire repairs. Give him a call, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. Make sure you tell Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire you heard about him on the radio. He'll take extra good care of you if you do. I promise you. He's a good guy. All right, so I'm reading this story about organized migrant theft groups in Pennsylvania and other liberal towns. During that incredible town hall with President Trump with Laura Ingraham, night before last, he talked about this new area of crime. He talked about migrant crime. There's all kinds of crime, blue collar, white collar. He talked about migrant crime. And it's happening in these liberal towns, and they're all waking up. They don't like it. Look at these New Yorkers living in fear because their cities are being taken over. And this is a good thing because it's red pilling these blue areas. Listen to this. This is in Breitbart today. Authorities in western Philadelphia suburb of West Whiteland Township are reporting clashes with organized gangs of retail thieves made up of illegal border crossers. Police officials have identified at least 3 gangs of illegals responsible for the theft of thousands of dollars of merchandise since January. This is being reported by WPVI television. It's a local Philadelphia news outlet. The Whiteland Township Police Department detective on the case says they're taking advantage of coming to the United States and committing these crimes and being able to disappear to some degree. The police department detective said over the last month we've had what we call South American theft groups. Officers arrested 2 Venezuelans on February 1st. Venezuelans get automatic refugee status, asylum. They were charged with stealing more than $2,000 in merchandise from an Ulta store. Is Ulta the makeup store? Oh my goodness. The suspects had both entered the United States illegally. In another case, an illegal from Peru stole $17,000 from a local Kohl's. What did he steal at Kohl's that was worth $17,000? You would have to take a hammer to the jewelry case and take a lot. But listen to this. I may finish the sentence. An illegal from Peru stole $17,000 from a Kohl's. He had been deported for the crime, but he's already back. The illegals are also committing home and car burglaries. I guess Trump was right. They're not sending us their best. You listen to the left, they're sending architects, engineers. There's this new movie I keep seeing on Amazon Prime getting advertised about a migrant farm worker who became an astronaut. It says it's a true story. Have you seen this? I don't know the name of the movie. It's got a big Hispanic actor in it. You know what it is? And I keep seeing the trailer. And I was like, oh man, they're making movies for illegals now. He was a farm working migrant. I guess he saved up his money and went to college or maybe got a scholarship, became an engineer and went up on the space shuttle. The migrants are our heroes now. The epidemic of organized gangs of illegals engaging in crime is hardly limited to the small village west of Philadelphia. Chicago and its suburbs have an illegal wave of theft. In January, authorities in the western suburb of Oak Brook, outside of Chicago, said there's an increase in thefts in multiple retail outlets committed by illegals. They're being traced back to shelters in Chicago filled with illegals. Nearby Lake County, Illinois, located just north of Chicago, reported a gang of illegals operating a theft ring targeting local businesses. Authorities in Michigan found similar circumstances after a gang of illegals from Chile was arrested for robbing a Macy's. A pair of Chilean illegals were nabbed in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and charged with robbing a jewelry store. See, this is the thing, okay? You know, these are like a bunch of Butch Cassidy and Sundance kids. Butch and Sundance went to Bolivia so they could start over. They were undocumented. They made up new names. Right? They couldn't do crime in America anymore. The posses were after them. So they went down there, they tried to, and what did they do? They do what they know. They started doing, robbing banks in Bolivia. That's what's happening here. And this government we have is so corrupt. This Mayorkas, why is Mayorkas, not being, he should be arrested. Not just impeached and put on this show trial. What they do is insane. The United States has a witness protection program for illegal criminals. You're a lifelong criminal in your nation of origin, whether it's Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, wherever they're coming from these days through Eagle Pass. You walk across the border, you're undocumented. What's your name? It's whatever you say it is. How old are you? It's whatever you say it is. And they give you U.S. government documentation with a new name, a new birth date, and a completely new identity. Oh yeah, and here's a credit card we're going to recharge every month. You don't have to pay for anything. So to these criminals, this is an amazing thing. Not only do you get to come to America, right? You get a completely new identity. You can't do crime back in Venezuela. They got you in the computers down there. They got your prints on file. They got none of that here. They don't share the data. And they give you a whole new identity. And the United States pays you every month, but that's not enough. This story out of New York where they're giving the credit cards of $1,500 a month. The reasoning the mayor gave is insane. The mayor said they don't like the bag lunches they're getting. They're throwing them away. Well, then they'll go hungry. When they're hungry, they'll eat it. What do you mean they don't like the food? It's free food for them. Since they don't like the bag lunches we're giving them, we're going to give them a $1,500 credit card, and I wonder how that works. Like, if I've got 4 children that I say are my children, do I get $1,500 for me and then $1,500 times 4 for the kids? What the heck? Are you kidding me? That's far greater than most Americans make every month. And by the way, not only do you get that credit card, you're staying free in some luxury New York City hotel. I visited New York. I had to pay for the hotel. And they're staying in nicer places than I was staying in, I bet you. Probably nicer than most of you have stayed. Plus $1,500 a month each. This is better than being a Seminole. The Seminoles get the money for the casinos, right? These families are getting more. They're doing better, and you don't even have to prove anything. To get the Seminole Indian money, you got to be able to prove that you're a Seminole. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to say you're Venezuelan or something, and they got you put up. And they're giving you a $1,500 credit card every month. Oh, and they're going to recharge that card every month. Yeah. And if the mayor steps out of line again, we'll threaten with prison for taking those illegal campaign donations. Whatever happened with that? What happened to Mayor Adams' campaign person that they arrested. Is she still facing charges? I wouldn't be surprised if they made that case go away, or if they put the date so far down the road they want to hold it over his head. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Hope your day's off to an awesome start. We'll see a daytime high today of about 73 to 75. It'll be more mild, and we'll see partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. I'm WTVF 29 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
95 northbound after 45th Street, a multi-vehicle crash now clear from the two-road lanes. To the right shoulder, there. Still got high congestion, 95 north and southbound.
This show has flown by. There's only 23 minutes left. I don't know where the show went. It seems like I just walked in.
The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is Steve Kane Show, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee.
Yeah, listen, I was just listening to you trying to get moralistic about the Biden family, and I find it interesting that the golden showered rapist who owes like $83 million because he's been verbally abusing his victim, Eugene Carroll, is going to be getting moralistic about anything. I think you guys, I mean, by the way, that MAGA thing you got on your head is clear evidence of your racism. You know what that MAGA stands for, right?
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the acronym. Let's go.
No, it's not an acronym.
All right, what's it?
You people trying to eliminate the civil rights movement, the voting rights,
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to make America great again for. That's what the again means, doesn't it?
The Voting Rights Act. Tell me about the Voting Rights Act.
You tell me.
No, you're the one who says that we're trying to do. You brought it up. You said that the MAGA movement want to do away with voting rights. Tell me about that.
And the civil rights movement.
Just talk about the voting rights. How's MAGA trying to do that? How is the MAGA movement? I am talking about what you wanted to talk about, the Voting Rights Act. How is Donald Trump and MAGA trying to take away voting rights?
What are you trying to make America great again? What's the again about?
No, that's not an answer. That's a question. I am responding to a statement you made. I asked you a question, and you responded with another question. That's not how a question requires a response, not another question.
I haven't answered anything.
Well, I'm good. I've answered it. I'm going to listen. I'm going to have a conversation with the audience with or without you, but here's what I'm going to tell you. The Voting Rights Act was passed because Democrats were stopping Republicans from voting. Right?
Oh, the Dixiecrats, you mean?
No, not the Dixiecrats. No, not that liberal lie that they teach in college or on the History Channel. Martin Luther King, the great John Lewis, who's a man I proudly met once, walked across that bridge in Selma. They were all Democrats, and that attacked these Republicans when they walked across that bridge to vote. And the Democrats have a long history of violating people's voting rights. And they're at it again. And what they're trying to do, the Democrats, are lock up President Trump and take away the ability that people have to vote for him. So MAGA, who are Republicans, are trying to maintain voting rights. The Democrats are at it again. They're trying to take away the right to vote for our chosen nominee, Donald Trump. And you're familiar with Selma, what happened in Selma, right?
Yeah.
What happened in Selma?
Why are you asking so many questions? Why don't you answer quick?
I am. You just don't have either the brain power to process my answers or you want to spread propaganda. In Selma, Alabama, John Lewis was about 16 at the time. The African Americans who walked across that bridge were Republicans. They were attacked by Democrats who did not want them to vote because they were going to vote Republican. That's what happened in Selma. I know that's not the way the movie tells it, but that's the true story. What's not true about it? What's not true about it?
Yes, Obama's a Republican, huh?
No, Obama wasn't around during that event.
Right. So I guess the Klan was gonna.
Rosa Parks was a Republican woman who was taken to the police station by a Democrat bus driver and was arrested by Democrat police.
Oh, my God.
This is true. This is true.
thinking, that's the kind of Orwellian thinking that you...
Orwellian? Orwell was a futurist, not a historian. He was a futurist. That's history. What I just shared with you is history. So what the Democrats were against voting rights then, and they're against them now. They're trying to stop us from having the right to vote for our chosen candidate, Donald John Trump.
Candidate.
Donald Trump.
The son of a Klansman, right?
No.
Trump was in the Klan. You know that, right?
No.
It's in the newspaper.
Yeah, what? Yeah. The New York Times, the same one that says that the dossier is real. Okay, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Donald Trump's father was never a Klansman. He's got that all wrong, okay?
That's true.
Absolutely. But the one thing is, Brian, I was just curious, when Donald Trump doesn't get reelected, right, what is this show going to be about?
You know, it's a funny thing. By the way, I don't agree with that premise, but one day he will no longer be president. You know, this is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. The Steve Kane Show has been on the air since 1977. Yeah, I mean, this is we're very heavy in the marketing. Absolutely, this is a commercially viable program. Absolutely. In 1977, who was president?
In 1977, I am not a historian like that.
You were alive, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy, this program has been on the air, and no, I'm answering your question. Calm down. These are the presidents, since this show has been on the radio, we've had Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, G.W. Bush, Obama, Trump. Okay, now we got this senile old coot, and then Trump again. Now I've only been with the show since George Bush H.W. 41 was president. Every time we're in an election year, I get calls from morons like you who say, what are you going to talk about when Bill Clinton's no longer president? What are you going to talk about when George W. Bush is no longer president? I get this question every time.
Brian, being so dedicated, I forget the time Donald Trump did.
Oh, you may have missed Monday's show. I was personally invited to the president's home on Friday night, and I got the photographs and the $20,000 autographed MAGA hat to prove it. All right, I used the president's bathroom Friday night. That's right. I guess he missed Monday's show. He must have been out sick like Mike, right? All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals doing this morning?
Metals are doing good. We're still above that nice trading range of support for gold at $2,020. Yesterday we saw gold close up at $1.70 after trading in a range of $2,020 to $2,032, closing out the day at $2,025.70 the ounce. Silver lost 10 cents at $22.86 the ounce. Platinum was down $18 at $8.83, and palladium lost $23 at $9.36. This morning, everything's higher. Gold is up $1.30 right now at $2,027 after trading in a range of $2,022 on the low to a $2,035 high so far this morning. Silver up 14 cents at $23. Platinum up $12 at $895 the ounce. And palladium up $12 at $948. So still holding nicely above our support areas for gold 2020 and silver right around that $23.
Absolutely, things are great. You know, a lot of times I know a lot of people that do this. Sometimes people they'll come to you with silver and exchange it for gold, and sometimes people will exchange gold for silver. People do it a lot of times with silver for a couple of reasons. Sometimes people buy silver because they can buy more of it over time, and then they save it up, and then when they have enough, they get some gold, or it's just too bulky, the safe deposit box full. How does that process work when people want to turn their silver to gold or their gold to silver?
Oh, it's very easy. You just bring it in, and we swap it out for you on the spot, and we give you a better deal because you're swapping metal for metal, so we save you some of the premiums and the commissions on a trade like that too. So.
And that's pretty common, isn't it? People do that quite a bit.
Yes, it is quite common.
Yeah, and you should.
Gold for some platinum when they think platinum's too cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's all kinds of ways to do it, and it's a pretty simple process. Oh, and by the way, you probably don't tell people this because you assume people should not be cleaning their coins, should they, before they bring them in?
Absolutely not. Do not clean your coins. Keep everything in the original state.
Yeah, people do that, and do not clean your coins. You're washing away value. Do not clean your coins. All right, William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. Because, the reason I asked about the exchange, because a lot of people always ask me about silver. Can I turn my silver in? I said, absolutely. Go see William Youngerman. You can do it. You can find him online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman will finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, and travel time is coming up.
Oh, yes.
Remember that we have a foreign exchange department that trades over 60 different currencies from around the world, so make sure you give us.
And that works both ways. If you have foreign currency, you can turn it into USD, but if you need foreign currency for travel, you can do it that way as well.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk tomorrow. Take care. We'll be right back. Elon Musk sent another rocket into space the other day, and I climbed up on the roof to watch it. And I was going to make a YouTube video of it, but my phone just was dead. So I didn't do it, but I do that all the time, and it's a really cool thing if you live in Florida and it's a clear day, and my house is almost due south of the launch pads, which is pretty cool. But I'm able to climb up on the roof with ease. I get a ladder out and do it because of Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. Before Dr. Appleton rid me of knee pain, I could climb up on the roof, man, but I was paying for it. It hurt up, it hurt down, and it hurt for days after. Now, up, down, boom, done, because I'm pain-free. I'm pain-free in my shoulder. My arthritis pain's gone. My knee pain's gone. Up and down the ladder, up on the roof, walking around, having a great old time. And it was not possible before Dr. Appleton rid me of my pains with his laser wave pain treatment. His laser wave pain treatment is 100% painless. Completely painless, 100% painless. There's no drugs, no downtime, no surgery, and it works. He's rid me of pain 5 times. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. The weekend's right around the corner. Tomorrow's Friday. Spend the weekend without pain. With Dr. Appleton, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give them a call and say bye-bye to your pain. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Jim from New York. How you doing?
Hey, Jim. What's up?
So we have Alba John. We have the nutcase before William Youngerman, but specifically Renee from Harlem. It's pretty sad that somebody who's, all into, I'm black and I'm proud, this and that, doesn't know any history. He only has the talking points, completely devoid of reality and fact. And when you present him with anything, all they can do is laugh and try to bring up the talking points again. I find it pretty sad that people are that brainwashed that they don't even know the history. And then, look, I'm Italian-American. I know history of my folks who emigrated here. This guy, claims to be, all about black history and all this, and knows nothing, and it's pathetic.
Oh yeah, and this nonsense they say about Fred Trump is just insane. I mean, the Klan were not active in New York. New York used to be a Republican place, believe it or not. It was a Union state, not a Confederate state, and it's just nonsense. They teach false history.
Right. It's revisionist history.
Revisionist history. That's correct. And it's really sad. The story, I'll just tell you guys real quick. Okay. Martin Luther King, when he organized the Great Montgomery bus boycott and everything else, they were all Republicans. And what happened during the 1960 presidential campaign, a sheriff in Georgia It may have been Fulton County. I got to check. It could have been Fulton County. But a county sheriff in Georgia arrested Martin Luther King. This is in 1960. Held him out to the jail. Coretta Scott King, his wife, they were going to lynch him. They were going to kill Martin Luther King. Remember, this is 1960. He had the bus boycott, but he wasn't as nationally known as he went on to be. His wife was in a panic. She called up Vice President Nixon, who was running for president, and said, can you get my husband out of jail? He couldn't do it. She got a hold of Bobby Kennedy, and Bobby Kennedy got Senator Kennedy to call up the sheriff. And the sheriff let Martin Luther King out of jail and didn't lynch him. Why do you think Vice President Richard Nixon couldn't get Martin Luther King out of jail? Who, by the way, Martin Luther King was a Republican, but Senator John F. Kennedy could. What do you think?
Well, because he's a Democrat.
That's right. He was a Democrat, and he was a Democrat. You can find this footage, by the way. I'm sure it's online. Martin they didn't lynch Martin Luther King. This was in 1960. Martin Luther King walked out of the jail and endorsed President Kennedy. He saved himself from this is how blacks became Democrats in this country. They were all Republicans before then. They held Martin Luther King hostage. The Kennedys were probably involved in the kidnapping, frankly, if we really had a true history. I don't know, but it's a little convenient, isn't it? And Martin Luther King came out. All of a sudden, he's a Democrat for the first time in his life. He was fighting against Democrats, and he endorsed Senator Kennedy for president. That's when blacks became Democrats.
And fast forward a few years when LBJ passed the Great Society, and he had the infamous, very disgusting racist line.
Don't say it. Don't quote him.
You know what it is, but Renee probably doesn't.
Well, that was the big switch. The big switch is when the Democrats threatened to lynch Martin Luther King unless he endorsed Senator Kennedy. And back then, things weren't live like they are today. And when he came out in front of the jail, it wasn't live. It was recorded on film to be on the news. So they knew he'd do the right thing. And if you watch that footage, Martin Luther King looked scared. And that's what happened. And then they started rewriting our history. And that's the way of it.
You know what? Great show as always, Brian.
All right, thank you. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Terry from Florida.
Yes, Terry.
Are you kidding me, man?
About what? About what?
What?
About what?
You know, you lying.
About what?
Lying.
About what?
You lying about Fred Trump not being the KKK. You lying. It's all over the internet.
No.
Look up Fred Trump.
No.
Look it up. And he had the white gown on.
No. No.
He was running there.
You know, I saw President Trump. I saw President Trump Friday on the golf course with a belly that looked like he was Octomom with 8 babies inside of him. They made this photograph with AI to make him look heavy, and he's not, by the way. So whatever photograph they have of Fred Trump in a Klansman uniform, that's AI or Photoshopped, or it's not Fred Trump. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Look that up. All you got to do is look up Fred Trump on the internet.
And everything you Google on the internet is true? You're telling me that everything we look up on the internet is true? The majority of what is on the internet is true?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's your problem.
Problem. The thing is, the truth is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you ask anybody that know anything about what happened.
Well, I'm not going to axe anyone, because if I axe someone, I might get arrested. You know, you can kill somebody by axing them.
No, ain't nobody gonna kill you.
Now, if you axe someone, you're like Jason in Friday the 13th.
You got jokes now, right?
No, that's what axing is. If you axe someone, you're taking an axe and you're sticking them with an axe. That's how you axe someone.
You trying to make Trump, his daddy, look like something it wasn't.
No, he was not the KKK. He was not the KKK. That's all made up.
He was.
That's all made up. Even if it were true and it's not, what does that have to do with President Trump? No, excuse me. What you said is not true. But if it were true, are you telling me that as adult men, we are responsible for what our fathers have done?
I'm telling you.
No, hold on. What you said about Fred Trump is not true, and it's disgusting, okay? But if it were true, are you telling me that sons are guilty of things that their fathers have done?
It is when they become like their.
What? When they become like their fathers? What does that even mean? So we are responsible for the sins committed by our fathers?
People have a tendency to mark their parents.
No, excuse me. So if someone's father commits a crime, you're telling me that somebody that is an adult man is responsible for the crimes of their father?
See, look how many Trump.
No. Zero. All right. He can't even comprehend this. By the way, none of that is true about Fred Trump. And it's disgusting that people even say such a thing about a man who's not here to defend himself. All I know about Fred Trump is he was in the real estate business. He gave a loan to Donald Trump of $1 million. Donald Trump turned $1 million into $10 billion, and he paid back the loan to his dad. Who has ever paid back their parents? Who has ever been paid back by their kids? The only person I know that's ever paid back a loan, loans from your aren't really loans. The only person I know of that's ever paid back a loan to their parents is Donald Trump to Fred Trump. So that sounds like really amazing to me, doesn't it? That's all I know about Fred Trump. And that he didn't want to move into Manhattan, and President Trump did, and that's how he made the $10 billion. All this stuff on the internet, everybody knows this isn't true. I mean, this is just pathetic. They've got some news article from 1920-something that they point to, okay? And it's the New York Times, the least credible of all newspapers in the world. All right, now, listen, guys, it's been a great show. Now, tomorrow is Friday already. Can you believe it? I can't even believe the show's over today. I feel like I just walked into the studio, okay? Tomorrow is Friday. That means it's Open Phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. The other 4 days of the week, you're limited to, for the most part, whatever topics we're bringing up. But on Friday, you can bring up anything that you would like to bring up. It's Open Phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And that show, sometimes it's the best show of the week, and then sometimes, when you turn the show over to amateurs, sometimes it goes, so you never know how the Friday show is going to be, but it's still Open Phones. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio this year. President Trump elected as the 47th president, and this show has been on the radio for 47 years this year. So a lot of 47s if you're into numbers and such. All right, guys, have a great day. And tomorrow, I didn't even get to half of my show prep. But that's okay. That means we had a lot to talk about today. And every call today on the program, except that last one, I think contributed quite a bit to the program. We had some good calls. Even Liberal Al's call contributed something. All right, now if you're on hold, I'm sorry. Stand by. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Have a great day. See you then.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar.
All right, guys, I got to run. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and hit that like button. All right, guys?